Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear happy investing females. Today's video is about a very crucial topic of riba, or so-called interest, because we as Muslims have to safeguard at all costs to not engage in riba, because it is a very severe haram thing in Islam. My name is Selvi. I'm the founder of Her Islamic Finance, and on this channel, I empower Muslimas to their financial security and freedom, inshaAllah. So on the topic of riba, I want to start off by defining the concept of riba. And why do I do that? Because oftentimes riba is set equal to interest, but not always when we read about interest, it is necessarily riba. Or on the other case as well, sometimes other terms that are used aside from interest can be riba as well. One example for that is the coupons of bonds, for example, that are named coupons, but essentially they are also a riba. So it's very important for us Muslims to be able to identify when do we have riba underlying and when not. So we have to understand the concept of riba. So riba has a few factors that we have to look out for in able to identify it. First of all, there has to be a debt involved. In the agreement or in the trade, somewhere there has to be a debt underlying. The second factor that we want to look out for is that the profit, the additional value or the interest is predefined at the time of the agreement, at the time of the trade. So essentially it's saying that X percentage of the agreement value is due as interest, no matter what happens in the future with the value of this agreement. If it increases, decreases, if the people are able to pay or not, this interest is always due and accumulates over time. Now, on the other hand, what we don't identify as riba is if the profit is not predefined at the time of agreement. If the profit is given when there is an actual value increase of the underlying asset, such as, for example, dividends. So companies, whenever they have good revenue, whenever they are growing in their business, they oftentimes decide to share their growth, their profit with the stockholders, and they pay out dividends to the stockholders. But the essential thing here is that this dividend is only paid out when there is an actual value increase. So it's not predefined, and when there is a value decrease, the dividend will not be paid out. So it just ensures that interest or this profit is always tied to a real value. Whereas if we look at the riba case, the interest can become due when there is not actually a value increase happening, right? And also, I want to be clear that the value increase of the, for example, stocks themselves or any asset in general as well is also not considered interest or riba because it's actually growing in value on the market. Take advantage of this so-called compound interest, which is just meaning the increase of the market value of the assets. Now I want to make a few words on why it is so harmful, because I probably think you already guessed it. When we predefine a profit, chances are that it is due when there is no real value there. People that took the debt still have to pay the interest even though they don't have additional value available. And if they are not able to pay this interest, more and more interest accumulates. So this whole of money that is requested from them is just growing and growing and growing artificially. There is no real value underlying. And whenever people are not able to pay, it starts, if this accumulative problem grows and grows, it starts to affect the whole society on an institutional level, on the level of banks, on the level of governments, on the level of the whole economy. So in the end, by this practice of assigning predefined profit, we all lose out in the end. So it is very, very harmful. Now, these are just my own words, and I want to end off this video by the perfect words of the Quran that I could never speak by myself, so that you really understand how important it is that we stay away from riba, inshaAllah. And I encourage you to look for further ones yourself. But it is, I think, very clear that interest is absolutely something that we need to stay away from. And that is also, on a logical sense, very harmful for the whole society and economy. Inshallah, Bismillah. Jazakallah khairan for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe this video. Also share it with other sisters that might be interested in this topic, inshallah. And check out my halal investing program, where you learn the whole tool set on how to invest in a halal way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.